Boat holders, it is time to return to your platforms. We need all boat holders to get on down to your boat to get you out to your platforms. Thank you very much. All officials, it is time to return to your positions so we can get this morning back on schedule. All officials, let's report to your positions. Thank you very much. So looking at our events coming up before the lunch break, we will have 6 heats of the Bantam Men's K1, and they will be followed by the Juvie Women's K2, and they have a couple of heats, followed by the Bantam Men's K2, then the Senior Men's C1, Junior Women's K1, Juvie Men's C1. And then our para-canoe finals. Our para-canoe athletes will be having their 200-meter finals beginning at 11:42. We will then be on a lunch break, setting up for all of our finals of this 2014 USA Canoe Kayak Flatwater Sprint National Championships. After we conclude the 200-meter finals, we'll be setting up for our 5,000-meter final for our Masters athletes. We recommend everyone staying here and rooting them, including your humble announcer, on in this 5,000-meter event later this afternoon. So that little batch of rain stayed to our south. We've got gorgeous weather, just a very slight breeze coming down the course, so still a chance to get some PBs out there to all of our canoe and kayak athletes. These 2014 USA Canoe Sprint National Championships brought to you by BBI Fabricators. BBI Fabricators is a leading precision contract manufacturer. They are located in Baldwin, Georgia, next to Habersham County Airport. They serve corporate engineering teams with demanding specifications that cannot be achieved with normal, everyday fabricators. They use state-of-the-art 3D design, fabrication equipment, and a professional approach to operations management. The team at BBI Fabricators ensures that your components are delivered to your exact specifications, that they are delivered on time and within your budget. Visit them at bbifabricators.com. Thank you, BBI Fabricators, for sponsoring the 2014 USA Canoe Kayak National Championships. So here we go, lining up for our first of 6 heats for the Bantam Men's K1. Lane number 1 from Lanier, Jacob Dixon. Lane number 2 from Oklahoma, Lane Hopkins. Lane number 3 from Lanier, Ethan Bomar. Lane number 4 from Lanier, Kalen Oliveira. Lane number 5 from Ikaika, Parker Murray. Lane number 6 from Lanier, Drew Deppie. Lane number 7 from Oklahoma, Colin McMullen. And Ethan Deppie from Lanier in lane number 8. And a good start here for heat number 1 of our Bantam Men's K1. And it's like lanes 4 and 6, Kaylin Oliver from Lanier and Drew Deppy from Lanier leading the field, getting down closer to the finish line. Heat number 2 getting ready to line up now. Lane number 1 from Lanier, Clay Baker. Lane number 2 from Ian Hack. Lane number 3 from Lanier, Josh Soper. And Ian Hack in lane number 2 from Lanier. Lane number 3, Josh Soper from Lanier. Lane number 4 from San Diego, Evan Truesdale. Gig Harbors, Chauncey Bevan in lane number 6, and Justin Roundtree in lane number, Chauncey Bevan is lane number 5. Justin Roundtree from Gig Harbors, lane number 6. Walker Peck in lane number 7 from Lanier, and John Carter Cooper also from Lanier in lane number 8. And a clean start for the second heat of the Bantam Men's K1. And it's Lanier's Clay Baker out in front, out in lane number 1. It's like San Diego's Evan Truesdale, lane number 4. The third heat of the Bantam Men's K1 consists of lane number 1 from Ikaika, James Sohn. Oklahoma's Alex Danner in lane number 2. Lane number 3 is Lanier's Max Roberts. Lane number 4 from San Diego, Rowan Masters. Lane number 5 from Lanier, Dalton Pethel. Lanier's Fenton Potter in lane number 6. Ethan Scarda from Lanier in lane number 7. And lane 8, also a Lanier paddler, Oliver Seska. And a good start for this third heat of the Bantam Men's K1. It's like Alex Danner from Oklahoma out to an early advantage over Max Roberts from Lanier. And the fourth heat for our Bantam Men's K1, lining up now from Ikaika, Sean C. Smith. From South Florida, Teddy Landenfeld. From Ikaika, Shannon Smith in lane number 3. South Florida's Tucker Getz in lane number 4. Seattle's Philip Solheim in lane number 5. Lanier's Owen Farley Klasick, lane number 6, and Owen Ozaki in lane number 7, also from Lanier, and San Diego's Nick Nebel in lane number 8. And a clean start to this fourth heat of the Bantam Men's K1. It is Lanier's Farley Klasick, who you can just see is just streaming away from the field here. Looks like Lanier's Owen Ozaki in lane number 7 will pull up in second place behind his teammate, Owen Farley Klasick. Lining up next will be Heat 5 of our Bantam Men's K1. Lanier's J.R. Coleman in lane number 1. Gig Harbor's Anders Carlson in lane number 2. Gig Harbor's Jonathan Bernardo in lane number 3. Isaiah Schumann from Lanier in lane number 4. Oklahoma's Gus Cook in lane number 5. Josh Frazier from Lanier in lane number 6. Joshua Burkhart from Lanier in lane number 7. And Garrett Wampler from Oklahoma in lane number 8. And a clean start to this fifth heat for the Bantam men's K1. Looks as though on the close side of the course here is Burkhart and Wampler. And Gig Harbor's Jonathan Bernardo. Getting ready to line up our sixth and final heat of these Bantam men K1. Lineup for this: lane number 1, Grayson Smith from Lanier. Lane number 2, Lanier's Andrew Searles. Lane number 3, Joshua Forbes from Lanier. Lane number 4, Gig Harbor's Kyle Field. Lane number 5, Jerry Chen from Seattle. Lane number 6, Alec Wilson from Lanier. Lane number 7, Aaron Small from Seattle. And from San Diego, Jacob Ish in lane number 8. This will be followed by our first juvenile women's K2 heat. And a clean start to the 6th and final heat of the Bantam Men's K1. It's like Kyle Field from Gig Harbor out to an early jump on the field. Lane number 7, Aaron Small from Seattle, making chase. I'm sure he's heard this before, but Mr. Kyle Field has the field covered in this heat. Coming up next, the first of 2 heats for our juvenile women in the K2 discipline. In lane number 2, a combined boat, Rice Creek's Cassie Rogers and Oklahoma's Krista Gall. In lane number 3 from Gig Harbor, Catherine Wilborn and Morgan Bevan. In lane number 4, combined boat from Ikaika's Kaya McTeague and San Diego's Mia Carraro. Lane number 5 from Rice Creek, Ina Pocher and Claire Dubois. Oklahoma's Hazel Eckert and Kaylee Gorbet in lane number 6, and Bria Conforth and Drew Fielder in lane number 7. Lane number 8 is Seattle's Georgia Dianello and Sakura Chino. And a clean start to heat number 1 of the juvenile women K2. This is going to be a pretty tight battle coming down to the finish here. Less than halfway to go. Looks as though lane number 4 is probably, ooh, they may or may not take it. A little bit of a brace there. They still come across the line unofficially in first place. The Ikaika and San Diego duo of McTeague and Carraro. And lining up now will be the second heat of the Juvie Women's K2. From Lanier, lane number 2, Maya Benham and Chelsea Allison. San Diego in lane number 3, Brittany Reed and Giomi Ramirez. Lane number 4 from Lanier, Grace Roberts and Lisa Swenson. Lane number 5 from Lanier, Kota Teasley and Gabby Diaz. San Diego's twin girls, Danielle Borm and Leilani Borm in lane number 6. And in lane number 7 from Gig Harbor, Amanda Milner and Noelle Misturek. This event will be followed by race number 166, the Bantam Men's K2 Heat number 1. And we have a start to the second heat of the Juvenile Women's K2. And it looks like the Seattle Borm girls taking this one home. Stretching it out, coming towards the finish. Lanier duo of Diaz and Teasley trying to make chase, as well as Misturek and Milner from Gig Harbor. Coming up next will be the first heat for the Bantam Men's K2. In lane number 1 from Lanier, Owen Farley Klasick and Clay Baker. Lane number 2 from Gig Harbor, Chauncey Bevan and Justin Roundtree. Also from Gig Harbor in lane number 3, Kyle Field and Jonathan Barnato. In lane number 4 from Ikaika, Parker Murray and Sean C. Smith. Lane number 5 from Lanier, Joshua Burkhart and Max Roberts. San Diego's Evan Truesdale and Nick Nebel in lane number 6. Lanier's Drew Deppy and Owen Ozaki in lane number 7, and also from Lanier in lane number 8, Joshua Forbes and Josh Frazier. And heat number 1 of the Bantam Men's K2 is underway. A note to this bass boat that is approaching the finish line area of the race course. We ask that you please proceed at idle speed. Idle speed, as this is the USA Canoe Kayak Sprint National Championships, and these young competitors need flat water. Out to a very early and commanding lead is the LCKC duo of Baker and Farley Klasick. Looked as though Gig Harbor's Barnarto and Field finishing in second. Again, to that bass boat, if you can remain at idle speed, please, making no wake as you make your way up the outside of the race course. Thank you very much. Lining up for heat number 2 of the Bantam Men's K2. In lane number 2 from Oklahoma, Alex Danner and Garrett Wampler. From Lanier in lane number 3, Ethan Scarda and John Carter Cooper. Also from Lanier in lane number 4, Alec Wilson and Josh Soper. Lane number 5, Kaylin Oliveira and Walker Peck from Lanier. Lane number 6, also from Lanier, Fenton Potter and Dalton Pethel. Lane number 7 from San Diego, Rowan Masters and Jacob Ish. Lane number 8 from Oklahoma, Gus Cook and Colin McMullen. And the second heat for the Bantam Men's K2 is underway. Looks as though out in lane number 2, the Oklahoma duo of Wampler and Danner out to a lead on this one. With a very good battle shaping up behind them. In fact, the battle for second looks like it's coming down between lanes lining up next, the third heat of the Bantam Men's K2. From Lanier, J.R. Coleman and Andrew Searles in lane number 2. Lane number 3 from South Florida, Tyler Gervasoni and Teddy Landenfeld. Lane number 4 from Seattle, Jerry Chen and Philip Solheim. Lane number 5 from Lanier, Ethan Bomar and Ethan Deppy. Lane number 6 from Lanier, Grayson Smith and Oliver Seska. A combined boat in lane number 7, Oklahoma's Lane Hopkins and Gig Harbor's Anders Carlson. And in lane number 8 from Ikaika, Shannon Smith and James Sohn. And we have a start for this third heat of the Bantam Men's K2. And we've got some pretty good battles going on out there. It's like the duo from Seattle with a very slight lead. Although the Lanier duo on the outside is maybe fading just a little bit. It looks like it will be Seattle in lane number 4. Coming up next will be the senior men's C1 heat number 1. Lane number 2, our independent paddler from Justin Staubach. Lane number 3 from Washington Canoe Club, Gavin Ross. Lane number 4 from Gig Harbor, Andrew Field. Lane number 5 from Lanier, Ben Hefner. lane number 7 from Oklahoma, Anatoly Yarshaw, and from Washington Canoe Club in lane number 8, Chin Chuan Tan. And looking at the weather, we have 73 degrees with a very gentle 1 mile per hour breeze from the north. The breeze is gusting up. Breeze is gusting up to 8 miles per hour, but again, it's a direct tailwind affecting everybody evenly on this Olympic course, one of the top 3 natural courses in the world. There is a little bit of rain activity to our south and west that seems to be tracking towards us. We, of course, will be keeping an eye on it for you. And we have a start with heat number 1 of the senior men's C1. A very tight battle with less than 100 meters to go. It's looking like Lanier's Ben Hefner probably going to come away with this, though there's a lot of people right behind him. It is indeed Hefner, and too close to call for second. And the lineup for heat number 2 of our senior men's C1 from Washington Canoe Club in lane number 2, David Podlick. Gig Harbors, Eric North in lane number 3. LC Casey's Ian Ross in lane number 4. And his coach, Claudio Cure, in lane number 5. Chris Quintich in lane number 6 from Seattle. And Gig Harbor's Hayden Tiemann in lane number 7. And we really appreciate those power boats going up and down the outside of the race course, maintaining idle speed so that there is no wake on the race course to bother these competitors in the 2014 USA Canoe Kayak Sprint National Championships. And a clean start for the second heat of the senior men's C1. Former Romanian champion Claudio Cure showing he still has a little left in the tank here in this 200-meter heat. And his protege who moved from Washington, D.C. down here to Lanier, Ian Ross, telling him, "No thanks, coach, I got this." At the line, looks like Ian may have shot that boat just ahead of his coach. How about that? And lining up for the first heat of our junior women's K1 in lane number 2, Ikaika's Hannah Ito. And continuing with that lineup, in lane number 3 from Lanier, Sailor Snayateki. In lane number 4 from Lanier, Karina Paul. In lane number 5, Gig Harbor's Allison Morse. In lane number 6, Rice Creek's Caroline Palin. In lane number 7, Seattle's Helen Shantz. And in lane number 8, from Rice Creek, Emma Bloom. And this just into the tower. Round number 2 of the ice cream is done. It is available for your enjoyment. $3 per cup up at the concession stand. Thank you. And we have a clean start to the first heat of the junior women, K1. Again, we appreciate Hall County Sheriff for being out there helping us to maintain beautiful racing conditions for our canoe and kayak athletes. Hope to see you out here tomorrow as well for our Masters National Championships. And to the action here. Looks as though Gig Harbor's Allison Morse taking command of this heat number 1 of the junior women's K1. Karina Paul trying to put on a charge there, and she will finish a strong second place. And the lineup for the second heat of the junior women's K1. In lane number 2 from Lanier, Lydia Skullrud. Ikaika's Kelly Graff in lane number 3. And also from Ikaika in lane number 4, Kaiolu DeFries. Lane number 5 from San Diego, Sammy Barlow. Lane number 6 from Lanier, Gabby Diaz. And lane number 7 from Gig Harbor, Amanda Milner. And we have a start for the second of 3 heats for our junior women K1. Looks like Sammy Barlow with a little bit of an advantage there in the middle of the course. And lane number 1, Lydia Skolrud, trying to make up some ground. And it is San Diego's Barlow just ahead of Lydia Skolrud from Lanier. And heat number 3, the junior women's K1 is lining up. Lane number 2 from Lanier, Kota Teasley. Lane number 3 from Lanier, Anastasia Hack. Lane number 4 from Seattle, Margaret Buzard. Lane number 5 from Hawaii, Kaimi Yoza. Gig Harbor's Noel Misterek in lane number 6, and also from Gig Harbor in lane number 7, Catherine Wilborn. And we have a clean start for heat number 3, the junior women's K1. Kaimi Yoza from Hawaii out to an early lead. And it's Yoza covering the field on this particular heat here. Lane number 7, Catherine Wilborn, looks like she may rally for second place. And the lineup for heat number 1 of the juvenile men's C1, lane number 2 from Lanier, Dustin Groton. Lane number 3 from Lanier, Michael Olson continuing with the lineup. Lane number 4, Noah Kemp from Lanier. Lane number 5, Riley Bruner from Lanier. Lane number 6, Tyler Martin from Lanier. And spoiling the Lanier party here is Jake Taman from Gig Harbor, who hopes to make his own party out of this Lanier group that he is paddling with in heat number 1 of the Juvie Men's C1. And we have a clean start for this first heat. This ought to be a real show right here. It is Bruner out to a very early lead, and Taman is making a charge. Bruner and Taman, Martin and Groton in the mix. It will be Riley Bruner, followed by Jake Taman. And lining up next is the second heat of the juvenile men, C1. Lane number 2 from Seattle, Kenji Picardo. Lane number 3 from Gig Harbor, Ryan Grady. Lane number 4 from Gig Harbor, Jordan Wickline. Also from Gig Harbor, lane number 5, Kenny Kasperbauer. Lane number 6 from Lanier, Austin Gibbs. And also from Gig Harbor, Mason Tatum. So here we have a mostly northwest group of paddlers out here, from all of them from the greater Seattle area, with the exception of Austin Gibbs from Lanier. And a clean start to this second heat of juvenile men's C1. Looks as though Casper Bauer and Tatum, both Gig Harbor paddlers, out to a very strong start, ahead of the majority of their Pacific Northwest counterparts. In lane number 3, Ryan Grady right in there as well. And it's like Casper Bauer crossing the line first, followed by Tatum. Coming up. Coming up next will be our first final of the day, so all of our heat races have now concluded. And our first final of the day will be our para-canoe final. These do count for overall team points. There are 3 different divisions out here running this morning. In lane number 2, Brandon Holiday, an independent paddler. He is racing race number 176. Race number 177 is para-canoe men. Lane number 4, Danzig Norberg from Gig Harbor, and Shad Isaac in lane number 5 from Oklahoma. Race number 178 is para-canoe women's K1 final. From San Diego, Irma Profit, and an independent paddler in lane number 8, Hannah Pennington. And we have a clean start for our para-canoe athletes. You can see one of them tearing out of that gate. That would be Shad Isaac, just ripping it out of that start line. This is your para-canoe final. Let them hear you. Lane number 5 over his counterpart, Danzig Norberg. It's Oklahoma over Gig right now. Gig Harbor starting to move up, but not quite going to have enough time. It will be Oklahoma, Shad Isaac over Danzig Norberg in race number 177. Here comes our first women's competitor, getting closer to the finish line here. That will be Hannah Pennington. And lane number 5, lane number 2, Brandon Holiday. And lane number 7, Irma Prophet from San Diego. And that concludes the activities this morning. Everything after the lunch break is all finals. 200-meter finals coming up after the lunch break. We will resume racing at 1 o'clock. After our 200-meter finals, we will have our 5,000-meter Masters events. We appreciate all the help out there, keeping our course in perfect racing shape. All the power boats out there maintaining idle speed, going up and down the course on the outside of the course. It's also very important to maintain idle speed when we are at our lunch break. So we appreciate everyone's help and consideration with that. We'll see you again shortly before 1 p.m.